Cats first on KOLR 10 News.
Well, all is quiet across the area. I mean, nothing going on. We've got mostly clear skies to partly cloudy skies. Off to the west, you see, though, we have a few isolated showers. Been waiting for this to happen to see if it would happen. It looks like as we go deeper into the night tonight, these muggy temperatures that we've got will slowly fall through the 70s. And in terms of what we can expect, probably not too much. Overnight tonight, just a slight chance for a shower or thunderstorm. I think the overall severe weather threat looks very low from here on out. And then tomorrow, the big story is going to be the heat. Temperatures by lunchtime already in the upper 80s, with highs tomorrow around 93 and heat index values up around the century mark. Could go even higher as we work through Thursday into Friday. More on that coming up. KOLR 10 News at 10 starts now.
You're watching KOLR 10 News at 10 in high definition.
A man convicted in the 2015 drunk driving death of a Springfield woman is going to prison after failing to follow a court order. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Keelman.
Good to have you along here at 10. Once again, I'm David Oliver. Greene County Judge David Jones sentenced Dylan Meyer to 5 years probation back in February for hitting and killing Kelly Williams. Our Nick Thompson is here tonight to explain why Jones revoked that probation today.
Well, David and Jennifer, Dylan Meyer needed to complete the Greene County Drug Court program and hold down a job. While there's evidence he was towing the line, he couldn't stay away from one of the substances that was in his body the night Kelly Williams was killed.
Is it often to see people in drug court relapse?
Yes.
Is it expected?
I wouldn't say it's expected. I feel that is an excuse.
In life, slip-ups happen. But after Dylan Meyer's choice to drink and drive resulted in a death, Judge David Jones made it clear there was no margin for error.
Mr. Meyer, you've done a lot of damage to a lot of family members of the victim and family of your own. I'm sorry you did not take advantage of the opportunity.
Jones thought a rehabilitated and sober Dylan Meyer may be an asset to the community someday, but he had to stay away from the two drugs that were in his system the night Kelly Williams died, marijuana and alcohol. Today, his probation officer and a lab specialist confirmed he tested positive for THC 11 times while on probation.
So I sit in there today and I watch a woman mourn her daughter who had died, and I watched a woman cry for her son as he was led off to prison. That is just the proof there that nobody wins.
Kim Knox lost her son to drinking and driving and now volunteers with Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Her organization believes the words we use to describe this choice matter.
So it was not an accident. And there's a push to change that terminology all across the country to crashes, because that's what it was. It was a violent crash. It took a young lady's life.
Violent criminal. Meyer had a chance to prove he could shed that label. Now, it'll stick with him for at least a decade. Meyer had obtained a job as required by his probation and also submitted to all of the testing and requirements of the drug court. But he tested positive for THC as recently as April 5th, which fell outside of the 30-day grace period given to most drug court participants.
All right, Nick Thompson tonight, thank you. Continuing our coverage now on the massacre in Orlando, Vice President Joe Biden says the investigation into the nightclub shooting is becoming more straightforward. He says the president will elaborate in the days to come. For now, though, FBI officials are digging deep into the lives of the shooter's family, especially his wife, who may face possible criminal charges. Craig Boswell is at the scene in Orlando tonight with the very latest.
A law enforcement source says the Orlando shooter's wife is telling FBI investigators she tried to stop her husband, Omar Mateen, from committing the attack. But there's no evidence Noor Zahi Salman ever called police to warn them she faces possible criminal charges. The shooter's father says he saw his son and daughter-in-law about 11 hours before the shooting, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary.
They are married for 3.5 years, and she is a very good girl.
Salman also told investigators she had been to the club previously with her husband. Club patron Jim Van Horn says Mateen was a regular.
He used to come in the bar about on the weekend. Sometimes he would be there. Sometimes he would miss a couple weeks and then be in again.
Sunday morning's standoff ended in a hail of gunfire, with 49 dead and at least 53 wounded. Mateen held Patience Carter hostage and shot her in both legs.
The gunman entered the bathroom and was shooting his machine gun. So we're all like scrambling around in the bathroom, screaming at the top of our lungs.
Carter says she heard Mateen make the 911 call where he pledged his allegiance to ISIS. Sources now tell CBS News he made the same pledge on his Facebook page during the attack. Near the club, a makeshift memorial has sprung up where people can come to mourn.
It affects all of us so deeply.
Late Tuesday, photos of a rainbow over Orlando flooded Twitter, a sign of hope for the future. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Orlando, Florida.
And President Obama will travel to Orlando Thursday to pay his respects to the victims. 6 people remain hospitalized tonight, still fighting for their lives.
In political coverage now at 10 tonight, President Obama delivered a scathing speech in response to Donald Trump's accusations that he is not tough enough when it comes to fighting terror groups. The president held nothing back today in a piece-by-piece takedown of Trump's criticism about his handling of the war on terror. Trump suggests the president has ulterior motives for not using the term radical Islam.
He was more angry at me than he was at the shooter.
So there's no magic to the phrase radical Islam. It's a political talking point. It's not a strategy.
Democratic candidates Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders continue in their schedule to meet tonight to talk about how to keep Trump from winning the election. House Speaker Paul Ryan held a press conference this morning in which he rejected Trump's proposed Muslim ban, saying it's not in the best interest of our nation.
In more local news now, after this weekend's deadly shooting, many are debating whether gun regulations are the problem or the solution. Our Colin Lingo is live in our newsroom tonight to tell us if this hot topic could influence poll numbers come November. Colin.
Yeah, Jennifer, after what happened in Florida, conversations about gun control are bound to happen not only more often, but also with more enthusiasm. We found out today what those conversations might mean come November.
It seems the folks in the Ozarks are split. Could this weekend shooting in Orlando have been prevented?
We'd rather go into a place that you can open carry than not be able to protect yourself.
Or do more pistols mean more problems?
If we have more guns, then there's not really any way to prevent people from using them the wrong way.
Regardless of where you fall, our political analyst Brian Calfano says having an opinion in the first place could lead to more awareness when it comes to national politics.
You'll have folks who become much more aware and more plugged in to goings on at the state and federal level on some of these things.
And at first, that extra political interest could sound like a good thing for the Ozarks. According to our most recent community focus report, right now, only about 20% of people in the area vote in local elections. The report also mentions a decrease in registered voters in Greene County. But Dr. Calfano says that awareness of national issues won't really play too much of a role in the lack of local political involvement.
It's one of those issues where local involvement doesn't really do very much. Gun rights, gun legislation, again, you're looking at something that would be a federal law of some kind. And to make that the issue or the motivating issue for most folks heading out to vote for a particular candidate, it's just very difficult to imagine.
But potential voters we spoke with disagree and say they're more ready than ever for November.
I think it'll have more people voting, and I think it's good for people to vote. That way we have more of a say on what goes on.
Oh, for sure, because there's going to be a lot of people protecting their gun rights, and there's going to be a lot of people opposing the gun rights.
Colin Lingo, Color 10 News, Ozarks First.
The search continues at 10 tonight for an escaped inmate in Arkansas. Authorities say convicted murderer 40-year-old Lloyd Jones escaped the East Arkansas Regional Correctional Facility in Bricky's on Monday. Jones was serving a 60-year sentence for first-degree murder.
It may only be June, but the heat is on across the Ozarks. Jamie, you're seeing lots of 90s. It's technically not even summer yet.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're looking at 90s that will stretch all the way into this upcoming weekend and beyond into next week, and not a lot of rain to cool things off. We'll take a look at the dangerously hot conditions that we'll see later this week coming up.
You're watching Color 10 News with David Oliver, Jennifer Kilman, weather with Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner, and sports with Dan Lucy. This is Color 10 News at 10. And now weather with Color 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
Well, it has been a quiet day across the Ozarks, and now it is a quiet evening, but we are keeping an eye on some showers and thunderstorms, which have finally begun to pop across parts of eastern Kansas. These storms that we're finding in eastern Kansas have remained below severe levels, and I think they're going to be apt to stay that way as we work through the night tonight. But the risk for a spotty shower or thunderstorm, I think, will be with us late into the night tonight. Certainly plenty steamy outside. It's in the low 80s, high humidity. There's still instability out there, and we're still keeping an eye on some stronger upper level winds which are working into the area. But the core of the upper level energy is passing by well to our north. And the thinking going into tonight was as that storm trigger passed by to our north, it would have a pocket of stronger upper level winds associated with it, at least on the south side, that would graze our area. And when you have stronger upper level winds and then you have thunderstorms that develop within that environment, there is a higher chance that those storms can organize and become severe. Right now, looking at what we've got in place overnight tonight, I think the wind shear or the wind energy that we're going to see in our area is going to be on the low end. There will be some upper level energy moving through. So with some spotty showers and thunderstorms, possible overnight tonight, I think for the most part, they're going to remain non-severe. If, though, a storm can perk up enough, it looks like damaging wind or hail would be a possibility. And I think the greater threat for a storm to be a little on the strong side would tend to be to the north of I-44. The overall severe weather threat, though, looks like it will remain well toward north from northern Missouri into eastern Iowa. Looking ahead to Wednesday, that system will be passing by to our east, actually our northeast, moving into the Great Lakes. We'll be on the back side of that system. The stronger wind field will be moving out of the area. And I don't think we're going to see much in the way of shower thunderstorm activity popping up to begin with. And if anything does fire up, I think with the wind field weaker, it looks like those showers or thunderstorms will tend to be non-severe. Really, the big story going forward will be the heat. We're going to have this ridge of high pressure overhead across the midsection of the country. We're going to have very hot conditions in place. The humidity's not going anywhere, and that combination of heat and humidity will be leading to high heat index values on a daily basis. In fact, we have a heat advisory in effect for tomorrow afternoon for much of southwest Missouri, western Missouri, and northern Arkansas. And I think we're going to see that repeated on Thursday and then again on Friday. I'm hoping for some relief by the weekend, as it looks like that pocket of upper level energy moves around the ridge. It may carve out enough of a trough in the east to push a backdoor front. What is a backdoor front? It's one that moves from a direction that's not typical, and in this case it's going to be moving from east to west across the area, hopefully providing some relief from this high humidity by this weekend. Until then, though, it's a sizzling summer pattern. Highs in the low to mid 90s each afternoon, and heat index values in the upper 90s to maybe as high as 107 degrees. And when you have heat index values that high, it gets pretty dangerous to be outdoors for long periods of time, and the heat can really take a toll on your body. Temperatures tonight dropping to about 73. Again, a spotty shower or thunderstorm will remain possible. I think tomorrow an isolated shower or storm possible in the afternoon, with the better chances probably in northern Arkansas. Highs tomorrow higher than they've been, up around 93 here in Springfield. Looks like about 94 on Thursday, 93 on Friday. Again, for Father's Day weekend, hoping that we'll be able to knock out some of this humidity, and afternoon highs maybe not quite as high, still highs around 90 expected on Father's Day, and that'll carry over into early next week.
Certainly be careful out there, check on your pets, drink lots of water. You know these things, but we just want everybody to be safe. So
absolutely.
It's always good to be reminded, definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Viewers Club number.
Okay, let's see it. There it is, 159-568, and our jackpot at $1,000.
All right, Jamie, thank you. Coming up, an Ozarks couple does what many parents would consider to be unthinkable.
The parents advised Mercy staff that they could no longer care for the child.
Why an Ozarks couple willingly gave up their child to the state. Next. Making news now at 10, a couple in Lebanon decided to turn their 2-year-old child over to the state.
While seeking medical treatment for substance abuse, the couple told Mercy Hospital staff they couldn't care for him and requested he be given to the state. Our Lindsay Klein joins us now at our studio with the details.
Yeah, Jennifer and David, usually we hear about the Department of Family Services going into homes to take children away from parents struggling with substance abuse problems. But in this case, these parents decided for themselves to hand their child over. For most parents, it's an unimaginable act.
These kind of cases, they don't happen very often, but they do happen.
It was Friday evening when Lebanon police received a call from a couple wishing to speak to an officer regarding substance abuse and their child.
They stated they had a problem with drugs and wished to seek medical treatment.
Both parents addicted to meth.
The parents advised Mercy staff that they could no longer care for the child and requested be, given to the state.
It's not clear why that choice was made. We had an expert weigh in.
If they've been having some delusions or some severe paranoia, they may be afraid they'll hurt the child in one of the states while they're under the influence.
While the Lebanon Police Department is not familiar with the couple, they tell us the duo does have a criminal history.
I think that the parents did what they felt necessary to keep their child safe, and they did it in a safe environment.
Missouri has a safe place for newborns law, which allows a parent to permanently give up a newborn up to 45 days old without prosecution, as long as it's done according to law and safely, with a firefighter, EMT, law enforcement officer, or staff on duty at a hospital, maternity home, or pregnancy center.
They can drop them off at the police department or hospital or a fire station with no questions asked.
In this case, though, the child is 2, but police say since the child was handed over to the state in a safe place, both parents agreed and paperwork was filled out. It's legal.
We are not seeking any kind of charges on these parents.
And the Department of Social Services says parents should be aware that if they pursue the Safe Place law, it is permanent. The baby must be delivered safely. The other parent has rights too, and if the other parent wants custody, they must take steps to prove they are the parent within 30 days. As of March of 2016, there have been 45 Safe Place for newborns relinquishments in Missouri since the law went into effect in 2002.
We want to win as a team and go up together and, end up winning together with the big league team.
The Springfield Cardinals are pushing to the playoffs while earning all-star tickets.
Dan Lucy is coming up in sports with highlights from Hammonds and more next.
And now, Color 10 Sports with Dan Lucy.
The Texas League All-Star Game is coming to Hammonds Field 2 weeks from tonight, and today the Texas League announced the players that will make up the North and the South rosters. 6 Springfield Cardinals have been selected to play. 3 of those will start for the North. Catcher Carson Kelly, center fielder Harrison Bader, and Luke Voigt. Voigt will be the designated hitter for the North. In addition to the All-Star invites, the Springfield Cardinals are in a race with Tulsa for the first half North Division Championship. A playoff spot is on the line. Springfield a half game back going into tonight's action.
Shows that we're all competitors, and we want to win as a team and go up together and end up winning together with the big league team. But got great group of guys with us, and it'd be a really special thing to win it all at the end of the season. I feel like overall we got a good mixture of younger and older guys. I think it's overall the chemistry is really good, and I think at the end it'll prove that we're a pretty mature team, and we take winning very serious with the Cardinals.
Now here's a look at the Springfield players voted onto the All-Star roster. Again, it's Voigt, Kelly, and Bader. All will start for the North on June 28th. Bruce Caldwell, Paul DeYoung were voted in as reserves, and right-handed pitcher Mike Myers was also voted onto the team, but right now he's at AAA Memphis. Now the Tulsa Drillers, as we said, starting play tonight, a half game in front of Springfield in the North. Tulsa would open the scoring top of the first. Alex Verdugo rifles this pass first into the right field corner, a triple scoring Andrew Tolles 1-0 Drillers. Springfield answers in the bottom half. Anthony Garcia singles to center. Jonathan Rodriguez scores, as does Bruce Caldwell, to make it a 2-1 Cardinals lead. Springfield would add to that lead in the third. Rodriguez again deep to right center. This one is over the boards and gone at the Arrive Alive sign. Solo shot 3-1 Cards. Later the Cardinals flashing the leather. Juan Herrera with the one-handed grab behind second base and over to first for the out. Nice play there. Tulsa would retake the lead in the fifth. Andrew Tolles rips this rocket to right that bounces off the wall out there. A double scoring Jordan Tarasovic and Tim Saboya. That ties the game up at 3, but Springfield goes on to win 7-6. So they are now in first place in the North with 6 games left in the first half. The St. Louis Cardinals opened a short 5-game homestand tonight against the Houston Astros. The Cardinals rolling into Busch on a season-best 5-game winning streak. Here's a look at the National League Central going into the action. St. Louis 7 games above 500, 8.5 behind the Cubs. Colby Rasmus making his first appearance at St. Louis since he was traded away. Matt Adams would put the Cards in front in the second, deep to straightaway center. This one goes over the 400-foot mark and gone to make it 1-0 St. Louis. But Houston would tie it up and then take the lead in the 5th inning. Colby Rasmus, Springfield class at 2007, deep to right center. This one's gone. That makes it 2-1 Astros. And then Marwin Gonzalez for Houston would double to right center.
Carlos Gomez comes around to score, and Houston had a 3-1 lead. St. Louis keeping pace, though. Brandon Moss been red hot. Deep to left. This one goes into the bullpen for a home run to make it a 3-2 game. But Houston's Doug Fister would single to center, scoring Erasmus and Gomez. That makes it 5-2. Houston wins 5-2. So the Cardinals are now 35-29. They'll conclude this series with Houston tomorrow night. Adam Wainwright will start. Game at 6:15 tomorrow, an hour earlier. Kansas City Royals hoping to keep their winning streak alive after losing 8 in a row. KC looking for its 4th win tonight at home against Cleveland. It's what the AL Central looks like going into the game. Kansas City 3 games above 500, just 2 games behind the Indians. Cleveland would take the lead in the 3rd. Carlos Santana, and he would go deep to right center and gone, a solo blast to make it 1-0 Indians. But Kansas City would tie it up in the bottom half of the 3rd. Whit Merrifield, called up from Omaha, would take this deep to left center. This one's gone, and this ties the game up at 1. Now, Cleveland owned a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 outs. A man on for Salvador Perez, and he would go deep to left center. This is a 2-run homer, 3-2 Royals. Kansas City goes on to win its 4th straight, 3-2. So the Royals now 34-30. Continue this series with the Indians tomorrow. Ian Kennedy gets the start there. So good news for the Royals and the Springfield Cardinals, not so much for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay, Dan, thanks so much.
We'll get a final look at your muggy forecast after this break. Well, hello.
We're back.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a hot day.
It will be a hot day.
Hot
It's
week.
actually pretty warm out there right now. I mean, temperatures right now are in the low 80s, and we've still got heat index values in the mid 80s. But it's going to be the afternoons and early evenings that are just going to be oppressive the rest of the week. Highs in the low to mid 90s, but heat index values maybe up around 100 to 105 each afternoon, hoping for a little relief this weekend.
Definitely want to stay safe out there.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Good night, friends.
Good night.